Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcast because People of Distinction is a nationally and internationally syndicated show because of listeners like you. Our shows are available across all major podcast distributors as well as YouTube. And if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. We appreciate the support. Continue to like and follow and sit back and strap in because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Janice E. Holliman. And we're going to be discussing her amazing memoir, I Am a Survivor. It's available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, pretty much all the regular online book resellers. Head on over there today, pick up your copies. But if you want to gather everything that Janice has in store, well, people, you got to check out her personal site. And that's JaniceEHolliman.com. There you'll find more information on Janice herself, more information on this amazing memoir, as well as a poetry book that she's also written. And that one is called My Garden of Roses. But get this, that's not all. All right? Janice is currently constructing a children's series that you're also going to want to pick up, right? My parents out there listening in, I know you want some content for your kids, something that's safe and easy for them to enjoy, but is also puts your mind at ease. Well, you're going to want to be on the lookout for that one as well. Remember, it's still in creation, so it's not available for purchase just yet, but check back into JaniceEHolliman.com frequently so you can gather those books the moment that they become available. And I quickly want to point out the fact that Janice was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know, I'm talking about Quipper Prints. So if you're a writer out there, you've gone through your process and now you need help moving that masterpiece that you just developed, well, contact Quipper, people, because this is exactly what they specialize in. You're going to want to head on over to quipperprints.com today and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, it is an absolute pleasure, all right, a true honor to have Janice here on the line. People, her memoir, I Am a Survivor, is going to be, it is a journey that you are going to embark upon because it's a memoir unlike any other memoir, filled with so much wisdom. But we're going to learn about Janice's story. And here's the thing, that story is still being written. All right, so there may also be, in addition to her children's book, there may be another memoir in the future. Be on the lookout for that one. But this book covers surgeries that she's gone through, illnesses that she's faced, obstacles that were placed in her path. But if there is one thing I can tell you, and one thing that I firmly believe, is God doesn't place anything in our path that we aren't strong enough to overcome. And Janice is a living testament to that because once you hear her begin speaking and talking about challenges that she's faced, that she is continuing to face, because this is another thing, people, you get this just like I do. Life is a journey, and on that journey, you're going to hit some potholes along the way, all right? You're going to need to pull over to the side of the road and change some flat tires. But here's the thing, that journey continues. So you just replace that tire, you keep it pushing, you move on to the next one. But with each passing pothole that you hit, you gain that experience. You gain that wisdom that fortifies your base, makes you even stronger and more knowledgeable to take on the next one. This book offers so much. A lot of you out there listening in, when you hear her talk about her certain things, when you head on over, pick up her book and you're reading it, there may be a lot of aspects that you can personally relate to. There also may be some aspects that you can't. The one thing that you will be able to relate to is that sense of perseverance, that sense of putting in a good fight each and every day and battling through it. This is something you're going to want to add to your shelf. The moment we've concluded, you're going to understand why I say that. But for the moment, sit back, strap in, And have those notebooks ready, okay? Because this is going to be very informative and, of course, inspiring. Janice, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Janice, I am fantastic, better than I deserve, and I appreciate you. First and foremost, I appreciate you asking, because that's something that I always ask, and I'd be the first to tell you, Janice, people don't often ask me how I'm doing, and I appreciate you even posing the question. It's going to be a good show, people. I can tell already. Listen, joking aside, levity aside, what you've done by comprising this memoir, and I think you were aware of this, and we'll cover that in a second, it's going to be very beneficial to our listening audience and to each and every reader that picks it up. So thank you for having the bravery to construct that literary window of sorts and allowing others to see into some of the most personal aspects of your life, because it really is going to shine a light on a lot of dark paths that people are traveling through. So welcome to People of Distinction. Thank you for being a guest. Let's jump right in. I want to know more about your background, but because this is a memoir, that's already going to be covered. So let's just start off. Janice, your book is titled, I Am a Survivor. Talk to us a little bit more about it and why that is.
Oh, wow. About being a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all and foremost, I'm a person that have a lot of illnesses. And really and truly, people cannot believe it if they don't know me personally. And even ones that know me personally that have not seen it, they seem like it was so hard for them to understand. And why? Because they will look at me and tell me that I don't look like that anything is going on with me or anything wrong. And I always tell them, thank you, because I'm glad to hear that I don't look like I'm toe up from the floor up. So that is my main thing, because I'm a person that loves to look my best. And because I am a skincare consultant, that means that, hey, you got to sell yourself. And how can you sell yourself if you're looking bad? So that is with that. But with everything that I have, in 1998, when I found out that I have Crohn's disease, and that is what I call the little C, which is going to turn into the big C. And the reason why I wrote this memoir is because of some of my doctors. They kept pushing me to write it for years. And especially my gastrologist. He was the main one. And then in 2018, he told me this. He said, Janice, I've been telling you this for the longest. He said, right now I have 10 patients that have Crohn's disease. And out of the 10, you are the only one that has not turned into full-blown cancer. And with all the surgeries you have had, all the accidents you have had, the incidents you have had, the trials that you have gone through, I've been so afraid every time you go under the knife, which that was something like every 16 months, that this is it. It's going to turn into cancer. But you have not. You have a story to tell, because you can help so many people, to encourage them in so many ways. And believe it, in 2019 of February, I had 2 car accidents within 20 days apart.
Wow.
Hit on both sides, which neither one was mine. And I looked at it, and I thought, from the first one, when I got a test result from the hospital for something that they said I was okay, no broken bones and everything like that. But they found something that they were looking for. And I'm like, oh, wow. And then after the second one, I asked them to check it, and see if it was still there. And it was. So I'm like, I guess it's time for me to write the book. And that is the reason why in 2019 I decided to go ahead on and write it.
Wow. Listen, Janice, you truly are a survivor in every sense of the word. My goodness, what an incredible journey that you've had thus far. And listen, as I've mentioned at the beginning, people, that journey is continuing. By no means did we just sweep it under the rug. Now it's in the past that she just has, all of these rainbows and butterflies ahead. There are still challenges to come. Well, I want to ask you now, Janice, as we start to transition, so we know more about the book, we know what inspired you to write it. Well, I'm curious, right? Because I always find this interesting when it comes to memoirs. Our lives are nuanced. Our lives are layered. Well, how does one go about choosing which parts of their lives to showcase? So I want to pose this question now to you, Janice. When you were going through this and you were constructing this narrative, how did you select which pivotal moments of your life and your journey to then share with your readers, and which ones to leave on the drawing room floor?
Well, not only do I deal with Crohn's every day, but in 2010, I wound up in a hospital for 9 days, then left that. Then 3 days later, I wound up in another hospital, and I was in there for 15 days. Wow. During that time, I found out that I had a stroke, which wound up meaning after I got out, I had found out that I had 14 blood clots at one time. And during that time, I also found out that my heart became enlarged. And not only dealing with that, I deal with toxic gut syndrome, colitis, tumors, ulcers, vertigo, weight gain, weight loss, pregnancies, many, many different surgeries. And believe me when I say this, that I have broken so many toes and kept going. And also the incident when I was thrown out of my own car and ran over by my own car while I was diagnosed with a broken back in 2 places and a broken neck. And that is like, wow. So these are things that I deal with, not only talking about high blood pressure, sleep apnea, heart disease, high blood, like I said, high cholesterol, diabetes, hernia, and I even flatlined, not once, twice, but 3 times that day when I went to the second hospital. And I had to deal with fluid buildup every day, gallstones, and so many other different things. I even became almost paralyzed. And even after some surgeries, my body wouldn't wake up. I was awake, but my body would not move. So those are just some things that I've skin removers and bypasses and so many other things that has happened that I did. And I took this book and I decided to cover for 40 years. And it started from the day that I got married. And I had to find out exactly who I am in order to save my life. So I had to do some deep researches, not just going along with what the doctors were saying, because I felt like I know myself better than they do. And only thing that they are very good, and I am grateful for them, but they could only help me by them asking me questions about me, and I'm giving them the answer. And so it means that they had to figure out. There was times when it took 2 or 3 different tries in order for them to find out or to be able to help me. And then there was some that was not able to help me that I had to go for second and third opinions. So, and that's just it, you know. And as I say, I love my doctors that I have because I have trained them into understanding me and not just thinking that they know best, but to understand who I am. And they have found out that I'm not as normal as the typical type of person, or it helps them to learn that people is not just a textbook
right.
for medical reasons. There is a difference that they have to really pay attention to. And that is what I had to do in order to save myself, to learn myself, to pay attention to myself. That means to listen to the inside of my body as well as the outside. And I really and truly, for me to do that, I had to go and do a research on my heritage, find out exactly what and why I was having all these illnesses. And I did. And I began to understand on that. And along with that, find out exactly all the many different heritage that I have. Mm-hmm. And that, with me finding out that I have 12 different heritages in me, wow. So that helped me learn exactly who I am, a human being. That's what I am, a person of color. And I am grateful for it, just so.
Listen, Janice, my goodness, I am grateful for you, and I am grateful to have you here. People, listen, if Janice is not the ideal candidate to be a person of distinction, I don't know what makes you distinct. Because, my goodness, you listen to her story. This is something that you can't, you just have to sit back and you just say, wow. Remember, the book is called I Am a Survivor, and that she is. All right, it's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's JaniceHolliman.com. Check out this book. Gather her poetry book called My Garden of Roses, but be on the lookout for the children's series that she's also developing. People, you will not be disappointed. Oh my goodness. Janice, my follow-up question, I'm curious to know, after all of these obstacles, and I think it would be fair to say anybody that goes through even a fraction of what you've gone through, the concept of wanting to just give up, I think would be very normal and expected. Now, whether or not they follow through with that is another thing entirely. But the question of that arising and coming into your mind, I think, is absolutely relatable and something that I think would be appropriate given all of the challenges. But I want to ask you, Janice, through all of this, was there ever a time that you can recall where you contemplated potentially giving up? And if so, why didn't you? Why did you continue to push forward and continue to fight?
No, I never, ever thought about giving up. And matter of fact, I am the type of person that draw other people to them. I'm the type of person, even with myself being as sick as I am and everything I was going through or going through, people call me with their problems. And they even gave me a nickname, Dr. Holliman. And I was not able to ever leave my house because every time I turned around, my phone was ringing that a person had an issue that they needed to talk with me about. And that was it. Or even when someone called me to check on me to see how I am doing and everything, and I'm winding up. The conversation turned in order to help them. And they go, I called to see about you, and you wind up talking about me. And I would tell them these words. I said, you made my day in order when you call me, not only just checking up on me, but letting me help you. Because, see, you helped me store my treasures. And that is what made my day. Mm-hmm. My goal, I feel like that I found my purpose, and I didn't realize something which I was doing all my life. But until I started writing this memoir, I wondered what was my purpose. And wow, epiphany, a light came on, and I realized what it was, to help others. And my goal is, I never ask, why me? I ask, what is it that I can learn from this in order to help others? And that is the way that I view life. I take everything that happened to me and I look for the good out of it, even though no matter how bad and how dark it is, I don't let it bring me down. I do myself, I like to say, I'm a child of light, not of darkness. So I'm always focusing on the good part of everything, no matter, again, how dark it is. And just imagine when you've been given up for life by the doctors. And I'm like, even at one point, I was in the hospital, and I was so tired. I said, I did not want to go. I did not want to die. But I was so tired. I said, I'm at peace with my neighbor. I'm at peace with my Father. I said, just let me take this last breath, and I will let go. And I took that last breath in, and as I was exhaling, and I said, wait a minute, Janice. Last year, you crawled around your car for $21, and you kept passing out from going all the way around and coming back and sitting up in the car by the time the ambulance came. You did that. You got the strength. And I said, I'm not ready to go. I'm not going. And I fought back, and I'm here. I am here for that reason. And that's just it. I even one day told, I kept getting calls, and I said, I woke up this morning and told myself, I'm going to be depressed. And they like, you can't be depressed. We need you. And even my cousin told me, girl, now you're crazy. Now who in the world going to pick that they're going to pick being depressed? And I just like bust out laughing, and I'm like, okay, this is the fourth call I've gotten this morning. I guess I cannot afford to be depressed. And, that's it. And I'm not a depressed person. I am a person that's always making someone laugh or bringing a smile to their face, no matter what. And that's just me. And that brings me joy of seeing them crack a smile, no matter how depressed they are. And that's what I look for.
I love this. Janice, we've mentioned a number of times that this memoir is not the only book that you've written. You also have a book of poetry. Well, even though we didn't get to go into a lot of the poetry here today, of course we mentioned it, but I can think of no better way of closing out of such an impactful interview as this one has been than with one of your poems. So please, if you have one readily available, myself, my listening audience, we're all ears.
You are not alone. Have you ever thought or felt you were all alone? Sometimes things can get so hard it affects your heart, your mind, and your bones. Guess what? You are not alone. There are times when everything you do digs you deeper and deeper until you just don't know what to do. You don't know which way to turn, to whom you can talk. You don't even know which way is up or which way is down. Guess what? I have felt that way too. You are not alone. Times will come when there is no place to grab hold and hang on with a good grip. But don't worry, all your hope is not gone. Don't worry, you will not hang on alone for long. As you hold on, you will build strength. By George, you will become strong. Just remember this and keep on remembering you are not alone. Take a deep breath and breathe. Then get a good grip to make sure you don't lose your foot and slip. Keep telling yourself and keep remembering you are not alone. Use the time to ask yourself what you can learn from what you are going through. Don't use it to blame. Don't use it to feel shame. You are not alone. There will come a time when you should take what you have learned and use it when you run into others who feel the same. Let them know not to feel shame and make sure they do not blame. Do tell them these words: you are not alone. Be strong and just say, you are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone.
People, listen, I often like to close out of my shows offering a reflection, offering a spiel. It doesn't even feel right to do that in this instance. That poem that she just read, everything that she stated during today's interview is so powerful. It perfectly encapsulates everything that these books offer, the inspiration that they give. So all I'm going to say to you is we just finished discussing her amazing books, I Am a Survivor, and then we heard one poem from My Garden of Roses. There is so much more. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's JaniceHolliman.com. Head on over there today and get lost in these magnificent books. While you're at it, check back in frequently because there's more on the horizon as well. Janice is the absolute embodiment of a person of distinction, and this is a name that you need to remember. You know where to go. Janice, this has been a true pleasure, an absolute honor. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you. You're so welcome, and thank you for having me.